What are rank and file Republicans in Congress saying about President Trump's broad sweeping tariffs? Because I had Senator Mark Kelly on the program just a couple of weeks ago, and he told me even Republicans touting these tariffs publicly, privately, it's a different story. Privately, no one he's talked to, Republican or Democrat, is pro tariff, pro President Trump imposing these, using his emergency powers. What do you say to that? And what are you hearing from Republican colleagues?
My friend Mark Kelly is spot on about this. You cannot find a Republican behind closed doors that agrees with the chaos and the destructive nature of the president's trade policies in these first 100 days. They will tell you that they know the president is not doing things in a coherent manner that's consistent with good public policy, and that it's harming the economy. You had one of the GOP mega donors the other day, Ken Griffin, say that 20% of our worth as a country has been destroyed by these, very capricious, arbitrary, and extreme tariff policies. I think there also is an acknowledgement that the way the president initially calculated the tariffs on other countries made no sense. It wasn't anything more than taking the trade deficit divided by exports, coming up with that number, and then cutting it in half. It wasn't actually a reflection of the tariffs being imposed by any other nation on the United States. Rather, it was this, made-up number that somehow was the basis for our tariffs on others. And the president now has said there are 200 deals in place, or that he's working on 200 deals. I don't know whether that's true or false, but I can tell you that when he first got to be president, before the Trump administration and those of us in Congress at the time negotiated the U.S., Mexico, Canada trade agreement, which at the time was said by the Trump administration to be, the greatest trade deal ever. That's what they said. And part of that incentivized companies like General Motors and Ford and others to make investments not only in the United States, but also with our friends to the north in Canada or to the south in Mexico. And now those very companies like GM are being punished for the decisions they made, which they were encouraged to make by the first Trump administration. In fact, GM, under these tariff policies, are paying more than foreign auto manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, or Kia. It makes absolutely no sense to punish American companies like GM, to punish American workers. And I have entrepreneurs in my district, Republicans and Democrats alike, Brittany, who own businesses, who are furious. They have shipments at the port, and they have huge bills, tariff bills. One company told me $920,000 was the first bill that they have to pay to Homeland Security. In many cases, these purchase orders were made before a full understanding of what the tariffs, the tariffs on China and other countries would be. And what we're already seeing is an impact on toys, games, other household goods, and Americans will either be paying more for these goods, workers will be let go, or there just won't be any goods at all. And last thing I'll say, the president yesterday, when asked about toys, he said, well, if somebody is, some kid only has $2 instead of 30, and those $2 cost a little bit more, no big deal. Well, Mr. President, having enough, domestic goods at reasonable prices for American families, whether it be toys, games, electronics, you name it. That's the least that we can expect. We all want to see American manufacturing thrive, but we also want to see American families be able to afford the goods that are here.